Moving on then to race number 4. Race number 4 is the first leg of the triple trio, and it is a Class 4 contest, again over the 1,200 metres, headed by Day Rich, who drops into Class 4 for the first time with the blinkers and the tongue tie going on for the first time. Jerry Shaw taking £10 off. No chance with Bright Kid coming into this, but finished off the last season in good form, as did More Than Enough, who finished off with a win. Untold Richards debuts for Michael Cheng and Keith Thiel. We got Interstellar off one trial for Tony Millard and Antoine Hamelin. Fresh Power, Mi Choi, Victor Wong, Breeze of Spring. Cheek pieces back on. Rocket Hammer gets the blinkers back on. Down to Lucky Guy and co-partner Era, who's winless after 6 so far. What do we make of the speed map, Mark, with news that Bright Kid has been up at Chung Fa?
Zach stays aboard Bright Kid and on a good tempo. He is going to settle, according to that, last on the inside. It'll be Fortune Master and Untold Riches, who's a very big animal up front. Interstellar, Day Rich, More Than Enough. Breeze of Spring, 3 wide. He probably needs some cover out there to figure. Might not be quite good enough to be 3 wide, no cover, and win the race. Warlord Rocket Hammer will take advantage of that. Judy Star back in the field with cover in front of Fresh Power and Bright Kid on the rail back at the tail.
Bright Kid, the first one we'll have a look at. As we said, he really finished off the season well last season. Very consistent. He goes nicely here with the old boy Hang's Decision, who was racing in this meeting as well. But I thought Bright Kid's work was better, and he goes nicely. We got Lucky Turbo, he's in this meeting, but the one we're focusing on here is More Than Enough. Now, he looked very progressive. He only had the 2 starts, but improved remarkably from start 1 to start 2. Goes nicely here in his track work and stretches out well. Alexi Bedell will take the mount. And Untold Riches, he's looked good in his trials. He's by Swiss Ace. Now, both trials have been on the all-weather. He's going to run on the turf for the first time. But look, his work's been good, and no reason why he can't run well.
We'll have a look at his trial in a moment. Untold Riches debuts for Michael Cheng. This is the first leg of the triple trio as well. Massive, 17 millions going in, $25 million predicted dividends. Here is Untold Riches then, Mark, along with co-partner Era further back.
He's such a big animal. He's a 4-year-old Untold Riches. He had 2 trials and won them both and looked very impressive in both of them. Co-partner Era, Paul, his last run was his best. He came from a long way back and made up many lengths. He wasn't asked to do a whole lot in this trial, but interested to see what the winner of this trial does tomorrow.
Yeah, he was 1,000,000 to 1, wasn't he, co-partner Eras, when he finished off. Now, as I say, he's an interesting runner because his both trials have been on the all-weather, and his half-brother, funny enough, is running in the same race as well, Fresh Power.
Interesting on that matter. Fortune Master we're looking at now, Paul. Just 1 start for him last season back in July, behind More Than Enough, over the 1,200. Yeah,
there was some market support for him. He was out about 15 to 1, I think, for Fortune Master by Brazen Bow. We haven't had many of their progeny up here. Not a bad trial. Barrier 12 will just make it a little bit awkward for me, but likely to go forward, Mark.
He was trapped wide on debut, Paul, and had to cover too much ground and knocked up. He looked like he was going to drop out and finish a lot further back than what he actually did in that trial. I just want to see him again, though.
All right, what about Interstellar, Mark? Picked up through the off-season by Tony Millard here. First start for him. I thought this trial looked okay.
Yeah, I thought so too. What we didn't see was he was 4 wide early and 3 wide improving from the first turn, and he just keeps on. And we know what Tony Millard has done with the horses he's picked up last season, so Interstellar might be one to watch through the first few months of this one too, Paul.
Yeah, and cross noseband will go on him, so just tinkering with the gear a little bit. Another one, unfortunately, has drawn a bit wide for his stable debut.
All right, we can have a look at Bright Kid. We saw him in track work. We can have a look at him in race action as well, back at the end of last season. He won in May, Paul, then a couple of second places behind Hunyan Swiftness and then Winston's Lad here.
He's one of those horses took a long time to win a race. I mean, he did win. He had a 20-start maiden before he won, but then he's followed it up with 2 really good runs, as you mentioned, behind those horses. So this was another good run from him. We've seen this video already with Winston's Lad, but I've included him in the numbers. He's been consistent. Another one, unfortunately, he's drawn wide, though.
He has. He's had 3 starts for Chris So for a win and 2 placings. That's a great form race. Winston's Lad back-to-back. Bright Kid second and Some Street Somewhere third. Came out and won the race later.
He did. We'll talk about him a bit later on as well. Final race to have a look at. This is More Than Enough. His win last season on just his second start as well, Mark, with co-partner Happy Tango and Fortune Master engaged.
He's the one to watch, co-partner, and maybe not for Sunday, but certainly getting up in ground, and even he drops back into Class 5. More Than Enough, just waiting for the run to come. It eventually comes for him. He gets barrier 1 from the win. He goes out to barrier number 6 in this, so he's not drawn too badly. Co-partner, a white cap, runs on. Happy Tango's been up and down last season, Paul, and Fortune Master's 9th.
Really liked this win. I thought he fought really hard, especially that last 100 metres. He pinned his ears back and he wanted to win. and he did win, and that was only his second start.
All right, so more to come again. But the debutant, Paul, Untold Riches. He's our favourite. Where do you have him placed?
Yeah, I've got him in the numbers, Untold Riches, but I am going to go with More Than Enough, the horse we just saw there. I thought he's done enough to show me that he's quite progressive, and he's got rating points in hand. From barrier 6, he should get a nice run. Judy Star now, his trial wasn't very good at all, but he's done that before and come out and run really well. And his win at the back end of last season I thought was strong, so I wanted to include him. Bright Kid, consistent, and the first starter, Untold Riches. So 4, 3, 2 and 5.
Same top three as Paul, just a slightly different order. 2, 3, 4, and we'll throw number 13 in for fourth. Bright Kid's just going so well. Zach sticks with him, which is a good tick in the box of Bright Kid. 3, Judy Star to run second. Paul mentioned the trial. It was awful, but it was on the all-weather. He should appreciate coming back to the turf. More Than Enough's up £4, but he savaged the line nicely, winning at his second start. Lucky Guy's in, going to make him the value runner. The blinkers come off, draws barrier 1. Matthew Poon claims £2 3 times. To start the season, he's run second, so he does like a season opener. 2, 3, 4 and 13.
All right, first leg of the triple trio, big one as well, all around the same numbers, the 2s, the 3s, the 4s and the 5s, but I have included Interstellar in my selections as well. That's the first leg of the TT. Up next for us, race number 5, first leg of the 6-up.